Hey guys, as part of an annual fitness test over the summer, I did a maximum front plank for time, which I held for 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Feeling quite pleased with myself, I then checked the front plank standards for men, only to find that the ratings go way up beyond 6 minutes. That made me realise there's definitely room for improvement, so I went online searching for plank programs. As you can imagine, there's plenty of online programs based around plank exercises, but one stood out. It's called 30 Days to a 5-Minute Plank, which is exactly what I needed. The author, John Sifferman, lays out 5 programs ranging from ultra beginner to mastery, complete with warm-up and cool-down. He also includes some goal durations, which is the length of time you should be looking to hold each plank variation based on your ability level. Each program has 4 exercises and they get progressively more difficult with each level. So exercise 1 on ultra beginner is a front elbow plank on the knees, which moves to front plank on hands for beginners, elbow front plank for intermediates, RKC plank for advanced, and an RKC plank with your feet on a wall for mastery level. One set involves doing all 4 exercises back to back with no rest. Then you get 1 to 2 minutes rest before repeating for up to 3 rounds at a frequency of 2 to 5 times a week. Importantly, the effort is 75%. So if you think you can hold a certain plank variation for 60 seconds, you would stop around 45 seconds. When it came to selecting a program, my first instinct was to jump right in where I thought I belonged, intermediate. However, past experience following programs has taught me that there's often value in starting with the basics and building from there. I took the goal durations and applied them to each exercise. So I first tried to do all the ultra beginner exercises for the newbie goal of 30 seconds. As you might expect, that was too easy. Next were the beginner exercises for the beginner duration of 60 seconds. Again, nice and easy, right? After breezing through the front plank from the hands and the side elbow plank, I came to the front elbow plank with one arm elevated. I found this very difficult and couldn't get beyond 30 seconds. So, checking my ego, I settled on the beginner program. I chose to do 2 sets 3 times a week, meaning 13 workouts across the 30 days. Exercise 1 was a front plank from the hands. Exercise 2 was a side elbow plank. Exercise 3 was a single arm elbow plank, feet shoulder width apart. Exercise 4 was a 2-handed hip twist plank. This is deceptively difficult, particularly straight after the other 3 exercises. I made a little table to record my training times as I did the sessions, and I'll add a bit of color coding so it's easier to read. The first thing to note is that after 2 minutes rest, I couldn't hold as long in the second set, so my side planks initially didn't make it to 60 seconds. Secondly, I was progressing steadily and wasn't trying to chase times. I only went by what felt like 75% effort, and it naturally increased by a few seconds every session. After 3 full days off, I was ready to test again. My confidence immediately wavered when I started to feel it before the 2-minute mark, and I eventually collapsed at 3 minutes and 36 seconds, only 5 seconds longer than I managed over the summer. So, what went wrong? If I'd made it to 4.5 minutes, I would have pointed to the improvements in strength and stability that I must have gained from doing the single arm plank and the hip twist plank, because I almost doubled the duration of both of those. I would have also argued that the 60-second duration is deceptive, since I was doing 4 back-to-back exercises, 3 of which were unilateral, so I was doing 6 minutes of continuous planking, therefore working on my endurance. As it is, maybe the beginner program has a ceiling, especially if you limit yourself to 60-second holds. I deliberately kept it that way to see what working only on my weaknesses would do, but with the beauty of hindsight, I should have continued to extend my front and side planks out until I reached 75% effort. A much bigger issue, I feel, is specificity. Dr. Andy Galpin has previously spoken about how specific muscular endurance is as a quality. His example was push-ups and how doing lots of dips might have some carryover to your push-ups, but the best thing you can do is just lots of push-ups. Last year I did just that. I followed a 7-week program that only contained push-ups, and the result was that I doubled the number that I could do. If you work out the front plank equivalent of the volume in that program, you'd be looking at 90 seconds per hold for 5 sets, already up to 2.5 minutes by the 4th week. While the total volume per session is similar, the side plank variations in this program are maybe too different to have direct improvements on my front plank. If I'd chosen the intermediate program, the exercises would be an elbow front plank, a side elbow plank, a hammer plank, and a leg thread plank. I would say that following this is likely to give me some further improvement, but it's not specific enough to be the best thing that I could do if all I wanted was a longer front plank. What this program has likely given me is a much more well-rounded core, which I would say is far more valuable than the slightly gimmicky ability to hold a front elbow plank for a very long time. Personally, I enjoyed following the program, and I would say 2 sets was a reasonable amount of volume. It amounted to around 12 minutes of planking. If I had to do a third set every time, it would start to feel excessive. I also did the full warm-up and cool down every time. I particularly like the spinal twist and the tripod reach, which are areas I tend to neglect. If you're following a program which repeats the same exercises regularly, it really helps to stay on top of mobility. If you are considering this program, absolutely do it for the well-rounded core and try not to focus too much on simply achieving the longest possible hold. Thanks for watching.